live from historic Sanford Memorial Stadium in Sanford, Florida. FloridaLeagueTournaments.com on Varsity Sports Nation. My name is Conrad Volch. You smell that? You smell the air? Well, I hope you do. It's championship time here on Friday at 5:09 p.m. Eastern between the visiting team on the scoreboard, the Lyman Greyhounds, against the home team on the scoreboard, the Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs. This is the final game of the Florida League High School Invitational, the Classic Tournament, and it's the championship. And with that first pitch, both of these teams have now played in this championship game for the very first time. Whoever wins it also will win it for the very first time. This tournament has been around since 2008. Multiple winners, multiple repeat winners, but never these two teams. Pitch is outside. Ball one. On the mound for Flagler Palm Coast, number 8 of Roberts, Cameron Roberts. And he'll hit the first batter. Greyhounds will take their first base on a hit by pitch.
The first baseman, Jackson Wayne Scott.
So Yadiel Ruiz and will take his base. The first baseman, Jackson Wayne Scott, steps to the plate. That is fouled off on a bunt attempt. Lyman enters this game. They are in 6A District 4. They are 5-11 on the season. They were 2-11 coming into this tournament. They had lost 11 straight since starting the season, 2-0. They got a 1-0 win against Dr. Phillips, a 2-1 win against Apopka, and a 6-3 win against Martin County. That took place last night. They went through 3 pitchers, lost their starter, 2 batters in, replaced their reliever in the second, and the third guy came in and took it the rest of the way, as that'll drop for strike 2. And that pitcher was number 13 of Dyson Beeman. Came in and pitched a masterclass all game to help Lyman punch their ticket into the championship. On the other side, Flagler Palm Coast enters this game 10-5. Is that ball thrown over to first to check the runner? They won 3 straight. They outscored their opponents 21-4. 7-0 against IMG Silver, 5-0 against St. Cloud, and 9-4 against Lake Minneola. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First strikeout thrown in this championship game.
The pitcher, Ethan Farrington.
So Ethan Farrington, normally a designated hitter, this time he is a pitcher. He'll be doing double duty today. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 for the Arkansas Mid-South State commit. Farrington has the highest batting average on the team, batting .375. That ball thrown over to first, gets away from the first baseman. Farrington, a DH in that game against Martin County. That gets hit into left and will get caught for out number 2. So Kevin Cusick, the Florida Atlantic University commit, will come to the plate for the first time. Cusick had 3 plate appearances registered a hit and a run scored against Martin County as that gets skied into foul territory. Bangs off the roof of the stadium. Strike one. See how the wind affects these hitters today, as it's not as strong as it was throughout the day, but still blowing towards home plate. Cusick. 1-1, make it 1-2. At 11 hits this season, trying to make it 12. Swing and a miss, strike three. 4 batters faced. 3 outs. A hit by pitch, a strikeout, a flyout, and a strikeout. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Flagler Palm Coast will get their chance to bat when we return on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. Leading us off for Flagler Palm Coast, Marion Clayton. The Jacksonville University commit already has a home run to his name in this tournament, in this stadium. Make that 2. He's a dangerous hitter. And that is who Ethan Farrington will face to start this bottom of the first. Farrington, 3.86 ERA, 0-1 record. Starts off strong in the count, no balls, 2 strikes against the senior. Foul tipped. Count stays 0-2. Dips inside, ball 1. One, 2. Foul tipped again. You could hear the clunk of the bat just barely. as the home plate umpire goes out to talk to Farrington on the mound. That is popped into left field. Foul ball. Low and outside, ball 2. Clayton, 3 home runs this season, 2 of them in this park. Make that 3 balls and 2 strikes. Swung on into right, and that is fouled. Farrington trying to stay away from that sweet spot of Clayton. Swung on and fouled again. The 3-2. Swung on into right, and that'll land as a base hit. So the long at bat pays off for Clayton, and this will bring up Noel Hemmerly.
Plate number 7, Noel Hemmerly.
Hemmerly had 3 RBIs in their semifinal game against Lake Minneola. Been a strong 2-hole hitter all tournament for this Flagler Palm Coast squad. Like it. Well, they're going to call it a hit by pitch. Must have hit him in the hand before it hit the bat. Yeah, they're saying it hit the top of the hand. Lyman High School's head coach disagrees. Kevin Wainscott claims it went off the bat. And after conversation, Hemmerly awarded first base.
Now batting the third baseman, Carson Fliss.
As Carson Fliss comes to the plate with 2 on and nobody out. That is fouled off for strike one. Swing and a miss. Strike two. The 0-2, runners go. Throw down to third. That's close, but he's safe. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Both runners now in scoring position. Outside, ball 2. Down the middle, but too high, ball 3. Swung on up to, oh, it gets past the third baseman. Clayton gets home, and it's 1-0 Flagler Palm Coast. RBI single.
At plate number 20, Jordan Gonzalez.
So Jordan Gonzalez comes to the plate. Still runners at the corners. Nobody out here for the Bulldogs. Outside, ball 1. That's a laid down bunt. And another run comes home. Everybody's safe. That's an RBI single for Jordan Gonzalez, bringing home Noel Hemmerly.
Plate number 11, Tyler Bonenkamper.
So we'll have Tyler Bonenkamper to bat next, but first we're going to have a mound visit. We'll take a quick break here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. Ethan Farrington still on the mound for Lyman. Bonenkamper shows bunt, and that'll drop in for strike 1. The 0-1. Make that strike 2. The 0-2 pitch. Down the middle, he struck him out. And one's retired. Here for the Bulldogs. First K tossed by Farrington here in the championship game, and this will bring Paul Bowen to the plate with one away. Lands in the dirt for ball 1. The 1-0. They say he did not go. 2 balls, no strikes. Swung on and fouled, strike 1. This isn't the first time these two teams have met. They met March 17th of last year. Lyman took the victory 13-10 in their lone appearance since before 2005. This time they meet here in the championship game. It looks like Bowen called time before the pitch, so the pitch does not count. Outside, ball 3. Runners advance to second and third. Outside, ball 4. Bases loaded. Flagler Palm Coast starting to flex. As this will bring Nick Pandick to the plate with one away and bases loaded. Outside, ball 1. Pandick, a .286 hitter, 10 hits and 2 RBIs this year. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Swung on, gets into right field. And another run comes home for Flagler Palm Coast. It's 3-0. Carson Fliss comes in from third.
At the plate, number 9,
Kyle Gordon comes to the plate. Still bases loaded and only one out. Only out thus far is Tyler Bonenkamper with a strikeout. Down the middle, strike 1. outside, ball one. Swing and a miss. Strike two. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Second strikeout toss this inning for Farrington. And this brings Clayton Lamb to the plate with two retired.
Plate number 10, Clayton Lamb.
And that goes off the end of the bat for a foul, strike one. Saw one just like it earlier. That one went off the hand of the batter. That was Noel Hemmerly that got hit by a pitch earlier on in the inning. Makes it in the zone, strike two. Up high, ball one. That is swung and foul tipped. Keeps it at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Strike three. 3 strikeouts tossed by Farrington, but not before Flagler Palmcoast gets 3 runs on 4 hits. We head to the second. Lyman will be batting next when we return. Back here in the top of the second between Lyman and Flagler Palm Coast. Brock Schwartzberg to lead things off for the Greyhounds. We'll pop this into foul territory for strike one. Lyman down 3-0 after one full inning. And is banged down to first base. And a quick ground out for out number one. This will bring up Bryce Nebrugge. Nebrugge will step to the plate with one away. Drops in for strike one. One ball, one strike. That is hit high in foul territory for strike two. And that is just fouled down the third baseline. So initially, the runner thought it was a hit by pitch, but I guess not. Batter leaned into the pitch, which you cannot do. So Nebrugge will go back to the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Outside, ball 3. That'll trickle up to third base. Throw down to first in time. 2 runners retired. So this will bring to the plate Jackson Warren, or correction, Dyson Beeman, the right fielder who came in and pitched the rest of the game yesterday against Martin County. This time he will be playing in right field. The 1-0. Fouled off. Strike one. One ball, one strike. This is hit into center and will drop for a base hit. Beeman gets on base with 2 away.
Plate number 10, Jackson Warren.
As Jackson Warren comes to the plate. 1 on and 2 away. Drops in for strike 1. Inside, ball 1, gets away from the catcher. Beeman will run down to second. Runner in scoring position now for the Greyhounds. One ball, 2 strikes. Warren had to duck. It looked like it was coming after him. Swung on up to the shortstop. Throw down to first in time. And the score remains 3-0, Flagler Palm Coast. Way to the bottom of the second. Here on Varsity Sports Nation. We're in the bottom of the second. We'll start with the top of the order here for Flagler Palm Coast. Marion Clayton, who already has a single and a run scored in this game, comes to the plate. Farrington still on the mound for Lyman. This is sent into left center, and it goes over the left fielder's head. Clayton rounding first up to second. He's not stopping. He's going to go to third. And he's going to start off with a leadoff triple here in the second inning.
At plate number 7, Noel Hemmerly.
And that brings Noel Hemmerly to the plate with 1 on third and nobody out. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Swung on down to third. It's bobbled, and Clayton gets home. It's 4-0 Bulldogs.
At plate number 21, Carson Fliss.
Carson Fliss steps to the plate. Last time he was up, he hit an RBI single. That goes in to right center for a base hit. Hemmerly will run all the way to third. And it's runners at the corners with nobody out.
At plate number 20, Jordan Gonzalez.
So Jordan Gonzalez at the plate. Runners at the corners, nobody out. Shows bunt, called strike. Shows bunt again, this time fouls it off. Strike two. Swung on into right, and that's caught by Beeman for out number one. That allows Hemmerly to get home from third, and it's 5-0 Flagler Palm Coast.
At plate number 1, Tyler Bonenkamper.
So Tyler Bonenkamper, in his last at bat, he struck out. One of 3 Bulldogs to strike out in the first inning. Check over to first. Runner is safe. Runner goes, throw down to second. Not in time. Fliss now in scoring position for Flagler Palm Coast. Swing and a miss. Strike two. And that drops in for strike three. Bonenkamper goes down once again with the strikeout bug as Paul Bowen comes to the plate with 2 away. In his last appearance, he reached base on a walk. Two balls, no strikes for Bowen. Swung on down the line. False foul, strike one. Outside the zone, ball three. Noah Johnson had to chase it around a little bit. This hit up to the second baseman, throw to first. Foot stays on bag, and that will end the inning. Flagler Palm Coast scores two more. They lead 5-0 as we go to the third. Lyman trying to get on the board when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. We've reached the third inning. Flagler Palm Coast in a commanding 5-0 lead. They've got 5 runs off 7 hits. Lyman has 1 hit, as Noah Johnson will bat for the first time for the Greyhounds. Swings and fouls, strike one. The 1-1. Down the middle, strike two. One ball, 2 strikes. Swung on into right center and caught out of the air. Marion Clayton, or correction.
Shortstop, Yadiel Ruiz.
Marion Clayton doing work out in the outfield. So we'll head back to the top of the order. Yadiel Ruiz picked up a 2-run RBI triple to extend the Greyhounds' lead from 2 to 3 runs last night against Martin County. He'll sky this one into right center once more. And Clayton pulls down the second out of the inning. Jackson Wainscott steps to the plate with nobody on and 2 outs. Outside, ball 1. Swung and foul tipped. Strike 1. Outside, ball 3. Swing and a miss. Fills the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cameron Roberts pitching a clinic. This will be bat down to the second baseman. Throw to first. Out number 3. Still only 1 hit allowed through 3 innings. We'll head to the bottom of the 3rd. Flagler Palm Coast still up 5-0. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation here in the bottom of the 3rd in the Florida League Invitational, the Classic Tournament here at historic Sanford Memorial Stadium, featuring Flagler Palm Coast and Lyman High School. Nick Pandick to lead things off here in the bottom of the 3rd. He'll two-hop it down to the shortstop, throw to first, and that is out number one.
At the plate. Number 9, Kyle Gordon.
Kyle Gordon steps to the plate with one away. His lone at bat, he struck out. And he'll sky this one into shallow right, and that'll do a one-hop in between the second baseman and the right fielder for a base hit.
Now batting number 10, Clayton Lamb.
So Clayton Lamb comes to the plate. 1 on, 1 out. He also is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And that sneaks through up to shallow right. And that puts runners on first and second with only 1 out. And a runner coming in at first base. This will be number 12 of Kyron Pinnock.
Running at first base, Kyron Pinnock. At the plate, center
And we'll go back to the
Clayton.
top of the order, Marion Clayton. 2 runs scored, along with a single and a triple. And that gets blasted into shallow left. It's trickling over to foul territory, and it's caught for out number 2. So Noel Hemmerly will step to the plate with 2 away. Outside, ball 1. Throw down to third, not quite in time. Third baseman had to leap in the air for it. Strike 1. 1-1 count. Here for Hemmerly. Swung. Gets caught by the third baseman. Throw to first. He flies up in the air and steps on the bag. And that'll end the inning. The defense for Lyman hangs on. No runs scored for Flagler Palm Coast. And we'll head to the top of the 4th. We'll see what a new inning brings us here on Varsity Sports Nation. We bring you the fourth here on Varsity Sports Nation. Leadoff man for Lyman is starting pitcher Ethan Farrington. He's 0 for 1 with a flyout. Lyman's defense able to buckle down and not allow any runs in last inning. Can their offense capitalize? Farrington sends this into left and just fouled. It had the arc, but the little wind that is here took it to the foul area. No balls, one strike. Inside, ball one. Swung on into right center, and that'll drop for a base hit. And that'll set up Kevin Kusick with a man on and nobody out for the Greyhounds.
Third baseman Kevin Cusick.
Outside, ball gets away. Farrington will sneak down to second. Lone outside, ball two. Outside, ball three. Three balls, no strikes. The pitch for Cusick. And he'll walk him. Cusick takes his base. Runners at first and second, nobody out here for the Greyhounds.
At the plate for Lyman, number 5, Brock Schwartzberg.
Brock Schwartzberg comes to the plate for Lyman High School. Oh for 1 with a ground out this afternoon. Swing and a miss. Strike one. The 0-1. Swung into center for a base hit. Greyhounds load the bases here in the top of the fourth. No pitching mound meeting yet,
Number 4, Bryce Nebrugge.
as Coach Kyle Marsh still trusting Cameron Roberts. As Bryce Nebrugge steps to the plate. Bases loaded, nobody out. And Nebrugge watches that come inside. Ball 1. Outside, ball 1. Catcher had to put his glove behind the batter. Very fortunate that did not go past him. The 2-0. That one gets away. One run trying to sneak home. The call at the plate is safe. Farrington is safe. It took a heavy bounce back from the plate, or from the backstop, and it's 5-1 as the Greyhounds get on the board. We'll have a plate meeting here on the mound, and we'll be right back here on Varsity Sports Nation. Back here on Varsity Sports Nation, 3 balls, no strikes. Bryce Nebrugge still alive in the count. And that makes it inside the zone for strike 1. Flagler Palm Coast has a man active in its bullpen. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Outside, ball 4. Once more, the Greyhounds have loaded the bases.
Step on the plate, number 13, Dyson Beeman.
And Dyson Beeman, relief pitcher last night, steps to the plate with the bases loaded, nobody out for Lyman. And Beeman fouls that one off. No balls, 1 strike. Swung up the middle, bobbled, and they call the 1 out at second. And another run comes home for Lyman. It's 5-2.
Plate number 10, Jackson Warren.
So fielder's choice for Beeman, and the run is able to sneak home from third. Jackson Warren at the plate with runners at the corners and 1 out. Is in the zone for strike 1. fake the throw. Oh, they're going to Beeman running back and forth. And a run's going to get home for Lyman. Beeman does his job. He'll be out in between the bases. And it's 5-3 as Lyman cuts it to 2. And you see teams do that to try and get the base runners to play freeze tag. And that ball gets away. Jackson Warren with the 1-1. Just outside the zone, ball 2. The 2-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Outside, ball 3. Swing and a miss. Or no, correction, swing and fouled. So the pitch doesn't count, as time was called before the pitch was thrown. And it's low, ball 4.
At the plate number 15, Noah Johnson.
So Noah Johnson steps to the plate with 1 on, 2 out. He represents the tying run. And that pitch gets away. And Warren sneaks down to second. And it looks like we're going to have a change of pitcher here for Flagler Palm Coast. We'll be right back here on Varsity Sports Nation and give you the update in just a minute. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. New pitcher on the mound for Flagler Palm Coast. And he'll pitch just in the zone for strike one. It's Brody Youngman on the mound, number 2. They try to get the runner at second, Jackson Warren. Make that 2 balls, 1 strike. Again, runner in scoring position for the Greyhounds. Just in the zone, strike 2. The 2-2. Outside, ball 3. And foul tipped. Keeps the count at 3 balls, 2 strikes. And another walk. Runners on first and second, still 2 out. And this brings Yadiel Ruiz to the plate with still 2 away. Pitch drops in for ball 1. And the throw over to first does not get the batter. So now it puts runners at the corners again for Lyman. That gets hit up to the shortstop. Throw to first. In time. Lyman scores 3 to cut the lead to 2. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th and see what Flagler Palm Coast does to answer here on Varsity Sports Nation. Leading things off here in the bottom of the fourth, Carson Fliss for Flagler Palm Coast. Sees that first pitch, strike one. Make that no balls, 2 strikes. Ethan Farrington still on the mound for the Greyhounds. Outside, ball 1. That gets hit down the third base line. The rope to first is in time. Fliss goes down in a ground out.
At the plate, Jordan Gonzalez.
That'll bring to the plate Jordan Gonzalez. Gonzalez, 1 for 2 with an RBI single and a sac fly. The 1-0. Fouled off, strike 1. Foul tipped. Make that 1 ball, 2 strikes here for Fliss. Or correction, for Gonzalez. On deck is Bonenkamper. Swing and a miss. They say he went, and he will go down swinging. 2 gone here in the bottom of the fourth.
At the plate, number 11, Tyler Bonenkamper.
Farrington has now thrown 5 strikeouts here in this game. Outside, ball 1. That is trickling down to the third baseman, collected, throw to first, and unable to make the play. So runner is safe at first with 2 away. And this will bring Paul Bowen to the plate with 1 on and 2 away. Flagler Palm Coast just got their 10th hit. Throw back to first. Tad bit late. Wayne Scott thought he had him. They try again. And again, and the ball gets away. Third time was definitely not a charm there. As Bowen's still waiting for the pitch. And they throw to second. Got him! So they couldn't get him at first, so they said, let's try it at second. That'll end the inning. Lyman, only down by 2, and they've got the momentum. We'll see if they can continue it when we return. Top 5 coming your way here on Varsity Sports Nation. Jackson Wayne Scott starts things off with a ground out to begin the top of the 5th.
The pitcher, Ethan Farrington.
So Ethan Farrington comes to the plate. Lyman scored 3 in the top of last inning to cut this down to 2. They gave up 5 runs in the first 2 innings to this Flagler Palm Coast squad. Brody Youngman came in last inning. Coach Marsh had seen enough after Lyman loaded the bases and got a man home. Two balls, no strikes. And that is fair. Oh! I don't know about that one. From our angle up here, it looked like it just landed inside of the foul line. But the home plate umpire says it was foul. Two balls, one strike here for Farrington. Outside, ball 3. Swung on and fouled. Fills the count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ball 4, Farrington will go down to first.
Plate number 12,
Kevin
Kevin Pusick.
Pusick comes to the plate with 1 away, representing the tying run. Down the middle, strike 1. Throw down to first, not in time. Lights have come on here at Sanford Memorial Stadium as the sun slowly sets. Just made it in the zone for strike two. On deck is Brock Schwartzberg for the Greyhounds. That gets hit right to the shortstop who bobbles it. And they get the man out at second, but can't get the man out at first. They say the first baseman, Gonzalez, was off the bag.
Play number 5, Brock Schwartzberg.
So it'll go down as a fielder's choice as Brock Schwartzberg comes to the plate with a man on and 2 outs. Swung on and fouled. Oh, 0-1. And the runner goes, and he is picked off in between first and second. And that will end the top of the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Flagler Palm Coast doesn't let any Lyman runs get in. We'll see you at the bottom of the 5th here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation here in Sanford, Florida at historic Sanford Memorial Stadium. Bottom of the 5th here in the championship game featuring the Lyman High School Greyhounds and the Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs. Paul Bowen starts things off, and he'll see the first pitch inside, ball 1. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Upstairs, ball 2. Bowen, 0 for 1. Had a walk in his first at bat. Lyman trying to keep this preferably within 3 runs. Flagler Palm Coast, like the bats were going to stay hot. But ever since the 3rd inning when Lyman did not let any runs in, their bats have cooled off. until that. They call it fair. Bowen rounding first down to second, and he'll start things off with a double. That was very close to landing foul. And it looks like we're going to have a mound visit by the Greyhounds. I'll give you an update when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. Yes. Leading off here, or not leading off, but now batting for Flagler Palm Coast, Nick Pandick. As a new pitcher on the mound for Lyman, Kevin Cusick. And that'll be bunted, throw to third. Got him! The runner is out at third. Paul Bowen tried to slide, but good IQ play there by the pitcher. They moved Manny Zambrano over there after the pitching change. And he was able to deliver the tag. This into shallow center. And that'll put runners on first and second as Kyle Gordon lands the single.
Stepping to the plate, number 10, Clayton Lamb.
So Clayton Lamb comes to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. Pitches in for strike 1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. That is fouled off down the right field line. Wind back up again, blowing towards home plate. And the sun very much in the eyes of the outfielders. Beeman with his hand up to his eyes. And that is sent high deep into left. And that'll be caught for out number 2. Center fielder Marion Clayton comes to the plate. 2 on and 2 out. 2 for 3, single and a triple, along with 2 runs scored. Cusick needs to be careful on how he pitches. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Clayton has 2 home runs in this stadium this week. The 0-1, outside, ball 1. You can tell Clayton really wanted to swing at it, but wisely watched it go. Swing and a miss, strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes. In the middle, but they say it's out of the zone. Ball 2. And that gets through. The runners will advance to second and third. And that goes all the way over to the Flagler Palm Coast dugout. As Noah Johnson had to chase that down. It's very fortunate that no run snuck home. This is a full count for Marion Clayton. Swung on, thrown to first, out number 3. We stay 5-3 as Lyman hanging on. We'll head to the 6th. We'll see if the bats can start to heat up for the Greyhounds. Flagler Palm Coast hanging on to a 2-run lead. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. Top of the sixth here between the Greyhounds and the Bulldogs. Brock Schwartzberg to lead things off. He'll send it into center field. It'll drop for a base hit. Marion Clayton could not get there quick enough, so it takes a one-hopper to him, and Lyman gets down to first base.
At the plate, number 4, Bryce DeBrugge.
So Bryce Nabrugge steps to the plate. Actually, we're going to have a runner come in at first. This is Andres Arcano. Just the 4th hit of the game for Lyman. Nabrugge watches it go in, ball 1. Swung on and tipped. Strike 1. One ball, one strike. Throw down to first. Arcano is safe. Arcano has 2 stolen bases this year in 12 games he has played in. This is sent into center, and Clayton grabs it out of the air for out number 1. That ball was going deep despite the wind. And this brings to the plate Dyson Beeman. Beeman, 1 on, 1 out for the Greyhounds. Again, checking the runner at first. Here's Youngman. And that's in for ball 1. Sneaks in. Strike 1. Outside again. Ball 2. Drops down the middle, but too low in the zone. Brings the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. The pitch swung on and fouled. That makes the count full here for Beeman. The 3-2, and he gets hit by a pitch, and he'll walk down to first base. Runners on first and second, still 1 out here for the Greyhounds.
Plate number 10, Jackson Warren.
So Jackson Warren will get his chance. Tying run is at first. Warren represents the go-ahead run, should he home run this. And Warren entered today a 182 hitter. Youngman trying to keep the runners on their bases. And that goes down the middle, strike one. That's skied in the left, and it's caught for out number 2. And the runners are forced to stay in their positions. Seen a couple balls now for Lyman be able to sky it, but just not enough juice to get out of the park.
Number 15, Noah Johnson.
And this will bring Noah Johnson to the plate with 2 away and 2 on. On deck, Yadiel Ruiz. And it sneaks down the line. It's fair. Johnson will hit one home. A second run's coming home. Johnson stops at second, and we are tied. Grady Davis will come in at run at second base for Noah Johnson. Wow. All you can say is wow. You could not have hit that ball any more perfect than the way Johnson hit that. It just barely graced the line and stayed fair past the third base bag and streaked all the way down the line and stayed on the correct side of the wall. If it sneaks into the wall, it's a ground rule double. And it brought both runs in from first and second. Davis standing on second. And this is skied into shallow center. A couple of Bulldogs running in for it, and that's caught out of the air by Clayton for out number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a ball game. We're tied at 5 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. What can Flagler Palm Coast do? We'll let you know on Varsity Sports Nation. Back here on Varsity Sports Nation, Noel Hemmerly to bat, and he gets hit by a pitch. And he'll go down to first base. Second time he's been hit by a pitch today. And that'll bring to the plate Carson Fliss. And he fouls that one off for strike one. No balls, one strike. Still on the mound. Swing and a miss, strike two. The 0-2, fouled off again. No balls, two strikes. Kevin Cusick still remains on the mound. Switched over from third base. They brought in Manny Zambrano. The 0-2 again. Foul tipped. 0-2. Inside, ball one. Just to update you on that scoreboard, Lyman, 5 runs off 5 hits. Flagler Palm Coast, 5 runs off 12 hits and 1 committed error. Before the end of the top of the inning, we get a 2-run RBI double from Noah Johnson. Coming into this game, I'm not sure how accurate it is, but according to Max Preps, 21 plate appearances, 17 at-bats. He had an average of 0. And he hit the biggest hit of the tournament. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's hit into left. And that's going to bounce off the wall. And it gets back in, and that'll put runners at second and third for Flagler Palm Coast. As this brings Jordan Gonzalez to the plate with 2 on and nobody out. As we're going to have a switch at runner at second base. This is going to be Julius Patton. We've seen him come in as a courtesy runner and a pinch runner this tournament. And that goes off the, they're going to say it went off his hand. That sounded like it went off the bottom of the bat. But the home plate umpire has better eyes than we do. So that'll load the bases for Flagler Palm Coast as Tyler Bonenkamper steps to the plate. Loaded bases, nobody out. And we'll have a mound visit from head coach Kevin Wayne Scott. We'll take a quick break here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. The infield has shifted in. And the ball gets behind the plate. And wow. A little bit of a bobble by Johnson. And he was unable to get to home plate in time. And Noel Hemmerly scores the go-ahead run for Flagler Palm Coast. That moves the runners to second and third. Down the middle, strike one. This game has seen one tie, no lead changes. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Struck him out. Bonenkamper goes back to the dugout. 1 away. As Paul Bowen steps up with 1 away and 2 on base. And that'll be laid down as a bunt. Thrown down to home, and that one is safe as well. Julius Patton gets home. So 2 plays at the plate, unsuccessful for Lyman. And it's back to a 2-run game for Flagler Palm Coast as Nick Pandick steps to the plate with 1 away. In the zone, strike 1. That gets hit over the pitcher's glove and into center field. And another run comes home for Flagler Palm Coast. That's Jordan Gonzalez off the RBI single. 8-5, Bulldogs. So back to a 3-run lead. As a runner comes in to third base, this is Javen Meyer. Runners at the corner, still only 1 out for the Bulldogs. And the bunt is laid down. And the throw to first goes haywire. They're going to send both runners home. And it is 10-5, Flagler Palm Coast. And we're going to have a mound visit here from the Lyman head coach. Everything the Greyhounds built up starting to fall apart here. 10-5 here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. New pitcher. This is Manny Zambrano on the mound for Lyman. He came in at third base when they moved Cusick over to the mound. And that drops in for ball two. Kyron Pinnock doing battle here for Flagler Palm Coast. Pinch hitting here for Clayton Lamb. In the zone for a strike. And that is skied into center field. Caught for out number 2. Runner will stay at third, and it's 2 away. As this will bring the top of the order, Marion Clayton, with 2 out and a runner on base. And that sneaks in, strike 1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Zambrano putting everything he has into these pitches. Trying to prevent any more runs from coming in to give his team a chance. Swing and a miss, strike 3. We'll go to the top of the 7th. Lyman has their work cut out for them. But like they say, it's not over till it is over. We'll go to the 7th. Big finish coming up here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. We've reached the top of the 7th here in this championship game. Lyman came all the way back and tied it in the top of the 6th. But in the bottom of the 7th, Flagler Palm Coast ripped 5 runs to go ahead by 5. Second time they've had a 5-point lead since the end of the second inning. New pitcher on the mound, Noel Hemmerly. .4 ERA. As we got some infield switches for Flagler Palm Coast. And waiting for his chance to bat is Jackson Wainscott. 0 for 3 with a strikeout and 2 groundouts, as Lyman is down to their final 3 outs.
Lyman, number 23, Jackson Wainscott.
Swing and a miss, strike 1. The 0-1, outside, ball 1. Grounded up to the second baseman, throw to first. That's out number 1. Bulldogs, 2 outs away from a championship. And this brings to the plate Ethan Farrington, the starting pitcher. That is sent high into left center. And that's caught for out number 2. Flagler Palm Coast, 1 out away from history. Kevin Pusick, Lyman's last hope. That pitch gets away, ball 1. And that is foul tipped for strike 1. Down the middle, strike 2. Flagler Palm Coast starting to feel it. Their fans are feeling it. 1 strike away from history. The pitch. Foul tipped down the line. We stay at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Inside, ball 2. The 2-2. Inside, got him! Your 2026 Florida High School Invitational Championship, the Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs, for the first time ever. Final score is 10-5. We'll take a quick break for the trophy presentations, and we'll come back on Varsity Sports Nation and give you a final recap. Don't go too far. Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs are your 2026 Florida League High School Invitational Tournament champion in the year 2026. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it. Once again, your final score, the Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs defeat the Lyman Greyhounds by a score of 10-5. They did it. They outscored their opponents. Final tally, they came into this outscoring opponents 21-4. They finish outscoring 31-9. Congratulations to your 2026 Florida League High School Invitational champions. Like I said, the Flagler Palm Coast Bulldogs. They'll be on the road, or correction, they'll be at home on March 23rd against St. John's County Day, followed by March 25th against Ponte Vedra at 7. And for Lyman, they will be on the road on March 24th against Lake Brantley at 6. And they'll be back at home on March 27th against the same Lake Brantley at 6. It's been a fun week. Thank you guys for tuning in to Varsity Sports Nation all week long. I've been Conrad Volch. Will Barbera also joined the party a couple days ago. Thank you to him as well. Thank you for Stefano Foggi and everything he did to put this event on year after year. My name is Conrad Volch, signing us off. It's been a fun tournament. We hope to see you guys next year. Have a great night. Bye-bye.